Welcome back, everybody, to the Man at 50 podcast. I'm your host, S. Richard, author of the book, Man at 50, A Journey of Crisis, Revelation, and Survival. So let's get started on the Man at 50 podcast, a podcast that is for you, your little person within you, your hopes, your dreams, and hopefully a new plan for the future. Welcome our new sponsor to the Man at 50 podcast, Scars and Stripes Coffee Company. They empower veterans to build their own business using their e-commerce platform. When you purchase from Scars and Stripes Coffee, you are buying from a veteran, and your purchase directly impacts the men and women who have served our country. Do more than say, thank you for your service. Order today and empower a veteran. Use vet code Brad Richard at scarsandstripescoffee.com. That's scarsandstripescoffee.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Man at 50 podcast. This is episode 37. I do not have a guest on with me for this episode, and it's going to be a little bit different episode than we normally hear on the podcast. Actually, it's in the middle of the night, and I am recording this episode with my phone, so the quality might be slightly different. But I've had a real heavy heart, and been struggling over the last few weeks with several items or several issues, and namely the issues that I've been struggling with that has brought me to a place that I felt the need. I needed to do this episode. We will be having guests on the podcast here in the future. The guests may not be scheduled until after the first of the year, but I wanted to assure you that I will be having guests on, and just wanted to let you know that the show is not ending or anything. I will be having guests on probably after the first of the year. I may schedule or put in a couple more episodes between now and the end of the year. But this episode is basically a call to action. I will be titling this episode as Urgent, Calling All Men. And this message goes out to the men that listen to the podcast. Ironically, looking at my stats and my statistics for the podcast, I do have about a 65-35 split, and 65% of my listeners are women, and only 35% are men. And even though the podcast is named Man at 50 podcast, that's just the way it is as far as the statistics and the analysis on the podcast. So, ladies, if you have a man in your life that you think needs to listen to this particular episode 37, by all means, encourage him to do that. Like I said, I've had a heavy heart, and I've been struggling with several things that are going on here in the United States. I know the podcast is heard all over the world, and so the listeners in multiple countries that listen to the podcast, they may not be able to relate to everything I'm going to say in this episode, but hopefully some of it will make sense to them as well. There is, as we all know, there is so many things going on in the United States right now. Being a proud veteran of the United States Army, that is something that has brought me to a place of despair and struggle. I have so many things that I want to give to people and share with people and help them in many, many ways. I have spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and effort into putting together a very comprehensive website. I'm offering multiple services and multiple tools to people. A lot of them are at no charge or very inexpensive. And I do that because my goal or the purpose for my website and this podcast is not to make tons and tons of money. That's not my motivation. The motivation for me doing the podcast and having bradrichard.net, the website, is to reach out to men and women and to help them have a transformation or a transition in their life to make things better. My underlying motivation for what I do is my father. And some of you have heard the story of my father. And my father, when he passed, he was scared and miserable and fearful. And it was a very tough life lesson to watch him go and to tell him that it was okay to go and to pass on, and leaving me behind to be a better man than he was or that he achieved when he was here. He had a lot of restriction and a lot of fear and a lot of negative beliefs in himself, and he could have did so much more with his life than what he did. And I have committed to myself to make myself a better man, a better person, and to help more and more people. The more people that I can help, the better. And in doing so, I am fulfilling my life and my purpose and my mission, but I'm also carrying him with me as well. And in the lessons and in the pain that I experienced and that I went through with losing my father, it was very important to me that I give meaning to his life and give meaning to his passing. Even though he is no longer with me in the physical sense, he is with me every day in my heart. And not only do I want to help you, the listener of the podcast, and the visitors to my website, he does as well. He just never knew how to do that. And so I am doing this for myself and you, and more importantly, I'm doing it for my father. I am doing it to honor him and to give meaning and purpose and give to humanity something that he never was able to do. He had a lot to give. He did have a lot of love to give and a lot of insight and a lot of lessons, and he never believed enough in himself to reach out and make himself vulnerable like I'm doing right now on this podcast, and he never had a chance to do that. And he never took the opportunity to make a difference in his life as well as other people's lives. So my motivation and my passion it comes from my heart, and it is in honor of him. And I am sincerely on your side. I want to be on your team. I want to help you be the best you can possibly be. And in doing so, I feel that I am blessed, and he is blessed, and he is part of that success that I want for you so badly. And so, along with the struggles and along with the heavy heart that I have had over the last few weeks, it has been 3 weeks since our last podcast, quite a long time, and some of you might have went, what in the world happened? You maybe thought that I just disappeared, but I have not. I have been struggling with several things as far as here in the United States, with the election and COVID and just all the things that are going on. I am not, nor do I have any intentions of sharing or inputting my political beliefs or how I see what is going on in the country. This format and this podcast is not, now, it's not for that reason. There are other platforms and there are other areas where I can express those opinions, but this is not the place that I will do that. For me, my number one concern is my country, my family, and where I see my country going. It is not the same country that I grew up in. It is not the same country that I volunteered to serve in the United States Army and protect and represent. And so I feel a very heavy heart because I do feel like I'm losing my country. To the people that are living in the United States, there might be some relatability on how you're feeling as well. I get that. So, it's with everything that is going on and with all the sadness and all the pain, I have people that are close to me that I love very much, and they are not seeing their children. They're not seeing their family members. They're not seeing their grandchildren. They're not spending time with their friends because they are fearful. They do not want to catch COVID-19, nor do they want to give it to anyone else. And so they are separated. They are lonely. They are isolated. They are distraught. And that is a very sad state of humanity, and a very sad state of where we're at as a country. And I know this is a worldwide issue. I know that it is touching the lives of people all over the world, but I only can speak to you from my perspective here in the United States. And what I see is a lot of sadness, and separation and isolation and things of that nature. On the political side, it is a mess. All I can tell you is I look at the political side of our country and where we're at from an American standpoint. I am an American. I am a U.S. soldier, and I am proud of the United States of America and our Constitution and our Bill of Rights and the country that I have lived for almost 57 years in January. And so I'm coming from a place of an American, not right, not left. And I'm looking at it as, the things that I'm seeing and the pain and the sorrow and the weakness that I am seeing in other people is really concerning me, and really taking me down emotionally, which, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I will stay strong, and I will continue to serve and continue to reach out and help as many people as I can. To be strong and to stand up for what they believe in, stand up to what they feel is important to them, and namely to take a stand for something. As the saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That's a cliche, or a saying, but I do believe there's some truth in it, and that's where I'm at with that. So I'm going to take a short little sponsor break, and I need to put that in there in the middle, and I'm going to just take that short break, and when we come back for part 2 of this episode, which is episode 37, urgent, calling all men, in the second half I am going to put out some information, and I'm going to put out a request and a call to action for men to join me and to join me in a brotherhood where we as a group can help one another become stronger and to stand strong and to be better men and stronger men, because there are so many people out there that need us. They need me and they need you. And the second part of this episode will be geared towards my male listeners. So we'll be right back after a short break. Please stay with me. I want to welcome our latest sponsor to the Man at 50 podcast. The company's name is Pure Green, and they are one of the fastest growing juice and smoothie bar franchises in the U.S. They are taking on health straight on with some fantastic, healthy, delicious products. So I would encourage you to check them out at puregreen.com. That's puregreen.com. And I am very happy to be associated with the Pure Green family, and very happy that they are a sponsor of the show. Have you heard about Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. They have great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, and it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'll need to make a podcast in one place. Check them out and download the free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm to get started. All right, we are back for part 2. If you've listened to the first half of this episode, you kind of know where I'm going next. I want to announce and let the listeners know, namely or mainly my male listeners, that I am launching a men's group. The name of the group is Mindful Men, and this group will be available to any and all men that want to join the group. We will be putting together regular Zoom calls with the members of the group. Mindful Men, basically to describe it, I am formulating and putting it together as a group of men that are mindful of their responsibilities, their actions, how their actions affect other people, and what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, and how can we turn those weaknesses into strengths and into positive things. So Mindful Men is the group that I am starting, and I want to be very clear. If you are listening to this podcast and you are interested in joining a Zoom call with other mindful men in the group, all you need to do is send me your name and email, and I will put you on the list and put you on the invite list for the Zoom calls that will be probably starting either in December or after the first of the year. This group and joining this men's group is going to be 100% free. I will not upsell you on any of my services. I will not try to get you to purchase anything, and I have no intentions of charging you anything for this group. This group is 100% networking and team building and basically supporting each other, man to man, supporting each other and addressing any issues that need to be addressed from each and everyone's heart and mind that is in the group. Once again, I want to be clear, the group is a free group. It is simply networking and talking to other men and hopefully opening up and working through anything that you need to work through. And to stress this point, this is a free group. You will not be required to buy anything, sign up, subscribe, or anything of that nature other than providing your name and email, and you will be included in the invitation that is sent out via email to join the group at the designated date and time. I am feeling a need to do this because I am observing and seeing a lot of men in and around myself and throughout our country in the United States, lost and weak and not really standing firm in that place, in that masculine, manly place. And I know that it can be difficult to do that because I fought that for many, many years and struggled with that myself. Now I am at a place where not only am I able to stand strong myself and have definite commitments and decisions that I've made in my life, I am helping other men do that as well. And I had to give that to myself first before I could turn around and give it to other people. And that's where I'm at in my transition, is giving to other people. I am focusing in and focusing the group on men because I do believe that whether you're a man at 20, a man at 60, a man at 40, or a man at 50 like I am, soon to be a man at 60, I think that we need to come together. We need to have a team. We need to have a group of men that we can count on and that we can open up to. And along with that, I think it's important that for me, I need to say this, and I need to put this out there, especially considering the whole content of this episode. I strongly suggest that you step away from all the professional sports, the professional teams, the softball leagues, and just the television and the fight channels and all of these things that so many men are a part of. All of those things is a sign of your heart and your soul searching for something more. And I understand that that is a way to feel good about yourself, feel strong, feel masculine, and being part of a team. But those teams, professional sports, fishing tournaments, hunting, things of that nature, those things are not, they are a side, they're a sideshow, and they are a diversion. The real you, the real side of who you are as a man is inside you, not outside of you. And my goal is to help you to realize who you are, what you can do, and how much you're needed right now. Like I said in the first part of the episode, there's a lot of sadness and a lot of fear, and we need strong men to stand up, take a stance, plan to support one another, and be part of that team, that camaraderie. That is so very important. And our family and friends and our children need us to stand with them and protect them. And, rooting on our favorite football team or basketball team or baseball team or any of these other sideshows and any of these other things that we're involved with does not build trust, does not build confidence. that when needed, we're going to be there. We're going to be there for them, and they can count on us. And we together, including myself, need to stand together and build that strong male presence, that strong representation of what it means to be a man. I know that male toxicity, the toxic masculinity, my opinion is that's an absolute joke. That's something that's being pushed. That's something that's been thrown out there, and it's demoralizing, and it takes away your power, and it diminishes you, and it takes you down several notches in the ladder. I do not believe in that. I believe in quite the contrary, and quite the opposite. And the best that I can do for myself, for my father, and for all of you out there listening to this episode is give you 150% of my heart, my mind, my strength, my masculinity, and my willingness to give to you everything that I have, with the understanding that I will ask for nothing in return other than you being present and you participating and you bring something to the group. Mindful Men is the name of the group. It's very easy for you to become a part of the group. You simply send me an email with your name. I will put you on the list, and when we start to schedule our Zoom calls, you will be sent out an invitation, and you just show up and introduce yourself and meet some other men that are wanting to make a change, wanting to be a better man, a better person, and deal with all their crap from the past. And we can do that together. We can do that together and get away from all these sideshows and all these distractions. I know that it's so easy and it's so hard to not be a part of something bigger than yourself, something that is exciting, something that's filled with testosterone and filled with that that manly growl, and that that is very important. I get that. But you won't find you in any of those sideshows. You're not in that part of the world. You're not actually a player. You're not actually part of that team, even though you may want to be, and it's always going to be out of your reach because you're not there. You're not part of that. And letting go of that and creating something new that you can choose to be a part of is real, authentic, and is a goal that I hope as a group we can work towards and make that goal a reality for every person and every member of Mindful Men. And I am sending this out. It will involve my time, my energy, my coordination, and the time that I give to the group with the Zoom calls and scheduling those and putting that all together. That is something that I've already made a commitment to do so. And I have already made a commitment to give of myself to other people and, give 100% of myself and 100% of my father. And because I'm doing this for you and him, and it's very important that I do this for myself, and giving to other people is where I stand in my life at this point. This is my time to give, and from now to my last day on this earth, my goal is to give to others and to help in any way that I can. But I see so much sadness. I see so many things going on, and just the constant news stories and the constant things that are happening, and nobody's standing up, and I don't see a lot of strong men there standing up and saying, I will be there, I will protect you, and you can count on me. Accountability, responsibility, and I know you're out there. I know you're out there. I know there are many that that could use a little bit of help, a little bit of networking, a little bit of support, and a little bit of rah, and a little bit of cheers and cheering you on as you grow and become stronger. So I'm going to wrap it up for this episode. Once again, if you are interested in joining the group that I'm launching, Mindful Men, simply send me your name in an email to manat50thebook@yahoo.com, manat50thebook@yahoo.com. I will add you to the list, and as we get a fair amount of people that have signed up to be a part of the group, I will be launching these Zoom calls, and we will get together and strategize and get to know one another, and then let's build something that is strong, that we're proud of, and that we can pass on to our children, our male children. And I think that is so very important. But it's out there. I am giving of my time. I am asking nothing. There is no money involved in this whatsoever. And there is nothing that you will need to buy, nothing that you will need to subscribe to, and there is no cost to you. This is simply one man coming together with other men to make some changes and make something positive happen. I think we need a lot of strong men. And now is the time for men to stand up, protect the people that need protecting, and be strong with one another, be vulnerable with one another, and admit that this is your time. I think this is all of our time. And so I encourage you to reach out to me and join the group, Mindful Men. I am going to wrap it up, and this will be the end of episode 37. That's what I am offering, and I encourage you to reach out and contact me. And I am here to answer your questions and to support you. And my journey is important, but it's not near as important as your journey. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of your journey, and you know, and walk with you through that. So let's do this together, and let's make a change starting today. As I end every episode the same way, this is the end of this episode. So love your little me, and remember, they are always with you. Until next time, I'm your host, Brad Richard, the Man at 50 podcast. And until next time, please take care of yourself. And I look forward to hearing from many of you. Bye for now. This has been the Man at 50 podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week for our next episode and our next guest on the show. Visit us on the web at www.bradrichard.net. That's www.bradrichard.net. Until next time, take care.